In a distant kingdom, there was a young prince cursed with an unusual shadow that seemed to have a life of its own. Every night at midnight, the shadow would detach from him and roam around, causing mischief throughout the castle. No one knew why or how, but the shadow's chaos grew worse each night. Desperate to break the curse, the prince consulted an ancient sorceress who lived in the depths of the forest. She told him the only way to regain control of his shadow was to find the midnight mirror, hidden in the lair of a shape-shifting wolf deep in the valley. This mirror, she explained, would reveal the true nature of his shadow and give him the power to bind it. With little choice, the prince set off that night. When he reached the valley, the air grew thick, and eerie whispers filled his ears. Suddenly, a figure appeared before him, the wolf, now transformed into a towering, shadowy figure with glowing eyes. The prince pleaded for the midnight mirror, offering his golden sword in exchange. The wolf agreed on one condition: the prince must survive the night in its lair. With nowhere else to go, the prince reluctantly accepted, knowing the wolf's lair was filled with tricks and traps designed to ensnare any trespasser. As the night went on, the prince faced illusions and puzzles that seemed to twist his very sense of reality. At last, he found the midnight mirror, but as soon as he gazed into it, his shadow appeared behind him, grinning wickedly. The shadow whispered, "I am your deepest fear, your darkest thought, the part of you cannot escape." The prince, terrified but resolute, took hold of the mirror and chanted the binding spell the sorceress had given him. The shadow began to shriek, trying to slip away. But just as the spell took hold, the wolf lunged, tearing the mirror from the prince's hands. Before he could react, the wolf offered the prince a final choice: "Release me from this curse, and I will give you back your shadow. But in return, I keep your voice forever." With no other option, the prince agreed. As he walked out of the lair, he realized he would never speak again, but his shadow was now under his control. The curse was lifted, but he had sacrificed part of himself. From that day on, the silent prince ruled his kingdom wisely, but his people would often say that at night, they still saw two shadows following him, one darker than the other.